Welcome back to Jtwes, guys. It has been a few days, a few busy days with church and mowing and everything else. Where we at? Sweet corn's come up. It's had a little bit of, I ain't gonna say damage, but you know, you could tell the cold weather's hit it a few times, but I think it's still okay. I didn't have no problem with any coming up as far as cold weather killing it, but I got a couple of spots that were what I call knotty, closer to the barn, and we'll show you in a little bit, that didn't come up as well, but the backside of it come up good. But you know, and I think we'll cultivate it and see what it looks like and give it a go on it. The Jimmy Red's starting to come up. From what I can tell, it may be about 12 to 13 inches apart, which is okay for the Jimmy Red. It's a big corn anyway. I would have liked to have 10, but we'll have to see. I think if I would have turned the planter fast with that 16 cell, it would have been putting it about 5 to 6 inches apart, which is a little too close. So we may just have to live with the 10. I don't know. But anyway, if I could find an 8 cell plate just like that one, but being 8 cell, that would put it just about right. But what we need to do, we have some what I call my summer garden rows I need to make up. So let's make those up, and then we'll switch out and put some rolling cultivators on it and go through some sweet corn, put a little more fertilizer on it, scratch through it just a little bit. I may or may not change back feed on the tractor because it depends on how much they're kicking up. I may just not put no down pressure hardly on them at all, and just let them kind of scratch through the back air, and that'll probably help out a lot. But anyway, so we got to put a disc on, and the Super A leaks down a little bit. All right. So I like to be somewhere about the inside of that back tire. Somewhere in there. I just want to tap it so it'll hold. You know how this game's played, guys. You gotta sit there and look at it and tap on it and figure out if it's where you want to be. Let me get this other one on. Guys, y'all notice I just tap on that thing. You don't need to frail and hit it. If you're tightening that bolt and tapping on it at the same time, you will get it plenty, and I mean plenty tight enough to do what you got to do. I cut that. Yeah, it's off. I need to check the fuel in this tractor while I'm thinking about it. Yeah, when I looked at the Silver Queen, you know, everybody wants that perfect stand, and I don't have it on that field, but there's still a lot of corn out there. And I thought, well, you know, because I do have plenty of seed, and I thought, oh yeah, half tank. And I thought, do I cut it up, plant it again, because it is a beautiful week coming up. It's going to be in the 75s, 80s all week. Just beautiful weather. And I thought, do I cut it up and plant it again? I said, no. You know what? That corn, we planted it March 28th, and it's got a good, decent stand on most of it. There, like I said, up close to the barn is kind of bare. And it's more corn than we would ever use, us personally, our family. I said, we're going to leave it. I just thought about this, guys. So I bought this. I didn't realize they cut it like that. Man, that means I got to cut it off right here. But I bought this roll of leather. My plan is, here's the gaskets off the 122 disc. So we'll punch a hole, and then I'll use that same hole punch and just come down through here, punch until we get to there. Or I'll punch here, and then take a knife and cut it out. But we're going to use We're going to use this as the gasket. And hopefully that'll be strong enough to keep the grease in the disc. All right, so we got to put these back feet on. Like I said, we may change the plow on it. And I've said this before, guys. I know I make it look pretty easy putting his feet on, but they're not that easy. Okay. Oh, lift rods. Don't know where they're at. I guess this is them. If you're, I think we talked about this last time. If your hitch is on here, you'll hook this thing from the outside. If your hitch is not on here, you hook it from the inside. But I guess at the end of the day, you can hook it whichever way you want to. Now, why are we doing this? We're getting this set up to cultivate, you know, most of the year, because I still have stuff, planter stuff I would need to run on this tractor. So just go ahead and take the fast hitch off of this one, because we're going to go over some garlic today. And it's tall enough now where it would do some damage to it. You have to make you a pin for this side right here, because the pin that's, I mean, I don't like taking the fast hitch apart. I guess I could use that pin that's in the fast hitch. I don't like taking it off of it. It's just another pin to lose, so we'll do that. All right, so we got the disc on. We may just put minimal down pressure on it. We may set that somewhere at about right here and just put minimal down pressure on it. I don't want to put too much on it yet until we see what it does. But let's make some summer rows. These rows we're making up, we may plant some beans next week. When my tomatoes are ready, we'll plant them. You know, everything in the summer that once it gets time, I'll plant them. And obviously we're probably taking, I feel like I got grit right here. We'll probably use a scrape blade on the 140 to scrape it all flat and plant it then. But getting it up in rows, just, you know, it's ready for me when I'm ready to plant. And then we'll cultivate some. I'm on a little bit of a hill here, and so you don't hit a hill when you're bedding up rows on a hill. I guess what I'm trying to say, you don't hit that thing wide open, at least not on the first pass. So we'll go through it probably in first gear, and we'll get our row established, and if we need to add a little more dirt to the row, we'll go a little faster on the second pass. So just in case you see me going slow from the get-go, that's what's going on. Okay, so we established that you don't have to go super fast to make a nice bed. A lot of times you'll slide the tractor, in which I actually slid the tractor, and I tried to straighten it out, and when I tried to straighten it out, I was using my right brake real hard, and I broke something. I think I broke the band in the brake. It just had to be something we do this winter. I got enough projects, just got a left brake, we'll be okay. So we're gonna put rolling cultivators on it, but guys, I'm sitting here thinking about it. The corn's small, those shovels are huge. I think if I can find them here relatively easy, I think they're under some of this. I think we're gonna switch feet out. We're gonna switch feet out to these little boogers here when we go through this corn, because I don't want it cleating up too much, guys, and those will cleat up. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna switch them out to these, and we're gonna put the rolling cultivators on. Rolling cultivators get a lot of people to watch my videos because of these things. Let me get them out here. All right, rolling cultivators. So a couple of things about these. I'll address a couple of things here pretty quick. So these are what I call a 5-tine. These tines are not that tall. They're wore off pretty good. The flat portion of it is facing the tractor. Flat portion facing, I say facing the center of the tractor. This is how they'll be mounted up under the tractor, guys. These are a 3/4 axle because they're Lillistons, early models, and it's a 3/4 shaft here. The ones from Ag Supply are 15/16 shafts, so you have to be careful there if you're trying to rebuild some. Probably most of them are 15/16 now, but these are 3/4, so you have to kind of be careful there, and I'll show you what the bearings look like in a second. You can use a short arm on this side of the tractor because it's going to go in all the way far as it can go anyway. I mean, it could literally be that short as long as the cuff will clamp down on it. Long arm is for the left side. Does it have to be this long? No, it ain't got to be quite that long because it clamps somewhere right in here. So it could be a little shorter than that. There was some question, I think, about putting these things on cuffs. These things right here, these cuffs. What you can do, guys, for a big time safety feature, if you do put it on cuffs, Sammy, get right here. These have a hole right here. In that hole, you can put a pin in it. And if you got it mounted on a cuff with a pin in it, and it does come loose from the cuff, it'll keep it from dropping out up under your tractor. That's the way we've always mounted them on cuffs around here. If we did use them for cuffs, we've always put pins in them. I don't have pins in them right now with these bars. Most time, you know, I can see if something's going wrong. I may put some pins in them in here in just a second. It's not going to hurt to do it. May keep them from sliding through, so we may do that in just a second. But yeah, put pins in them. And if you buy the tall ones off Ag Supply and you cut it off, we'll just drill you another hole. Trust me, that metal that metal's not going to burn your drill bit up. I promise you that. You'll be able to drill another hole, no problem. You've heard me mention a set of rolling cultivators I've never used. I've rebuilt them. And it's these right here. And they are pretty big. This one goes on the left side of the tractor. And you can see how tall the tines are, and they're actually coated in something to, I guess, for help them wear. And they have new bearings. I rebuilt them about 6 years ago, and we may try them on the 140 this year. I was gonna cut them off, but I don't think I'm gonna cut them off, guys. Cutting them off is almost like shaving tread off a tire. You let it wear off. I thought about it, but we'll probably take this short arm right here, and we'll put this short arm on one of them and get them fixed up for the 140. I mentioned to y'all that Agri Supply has bearings and parts for these rolling cultivators. Here's a 15/16 bearing right here, and that would go on like this one behind me. And here's a 3/4 bearing, and you can see that the 3/4. And then this bearing set here is strictly for these 5 gangs I have. 4 gangs is fine. You don't have to get 5. I just have 5. They're harder to come by anyway. Well, maybe not in a 15/16, but anyway, let's get them on the tractor. I just want to talk to you and show you a couple of safety things about it. Let's see if we got a pin or two. Yeah, we'll put a couple of pins in it just for it. I would put one of these in it, but I don't think that would hold that much. I mean, this right here would hold some. I don't think I have any skinny enough. Yeah. You could drill that hole out just a little bigger and put something like that in it too. But for today, we'll use these. There you go, guys. That'll help it. That will hopefully catch some. If it was to ever fall, that would be a good safety feature you guys could do. Because I do want you to be safe using these things, because I know a lot of people have bought them because I use them on the channel a lot, in which they're well worth using. They're good. I was telling my buddy yesterday, my buddy up the road was talking about all his pins bradded over right here because he hits the bottom of that bolt, and I told him, I said, Ken, just hit the doggone arm beside the cuff and it'll fall right off. But anyway, he said he'd been doing this 40 years and he never thought about that. Coat that thing in oil. I spray it down with WD-40 after I wash it every time. I'm gonna put some fertilizer down on the potatoes and maybe a little bit on my corn too. We got the tiller running for Ellie. Some of you eagle eyes folks may have noticed that I ran it through the potatoes and one side of that garlic, which that garlic really looks good now. I don't know if y'all noticed that, how good it looked. I'm waiting for the onions to start kind of breaking the ground a little bit, and then we'll spoon around those, give them plenty of place for the bulbs. I think we'll plant some squash, okra, tomatoes, maybe some cucumbers down there too. Probably cucumbers on the last row. Just give them room to spread. Some of you may notice this garden here. So this ideal started last year, and when I plowed this garden a little bit bigger, had a few folks comment on that I had got into some clay soil, which I knew I would. But I had it in my mind, even though I plowed it, I wasn't going to plant it. Because what I did is I skipped a whole row over and started my first row and curved in like that at the end of the garden. And that curve really, and it showed really well with the potatoes this year, it stopped that water from just freewheeling off the end of that field. It kind of stops it a little bit in that curve. It puddles up a little bit, but it generally dries out pretty quick. just stopping some erosion on it. That's why I'm curving the rows over here this year. So I was saying Ellie's tiller here. Y'all want to see if it'll crank? As far as I know, it hadn't run in like 20 years. Let's see. Choke it. It would go backwards. Well, I'll be darned. Well, I didn't know the tines would go backwards. What's that for? Somebody tell me. Huh. I thought that was reverse. I thought it was reverse on it, but I don't know. I didn't know they'd go backwards. All right, let's get some rolling cultivators on. Biggest complaint I get on these things is they're so heavy. They are. All right, over the years, I've taken this one, went under the tractor with it, and put it like that. All right, let's go around here. And what I do, square this bar up with this. And just kind of work it like you're changing a tire. And see how I got it in there? Let that cuff off a little bit more. Plenty of room on that cuff. And see how I just did that? It pulled through. So now we can take this thing and just pull it through. Now I gotta look at this mark. I can't figure out what this mark is. I think I had it right there. That looks about right. But we'll worry about that one in a minute. So now on the short one, so I never really lifted up. I never really lifted them up, you know, physically. So the short one, I do lift up sometimes. But you just bring it over here. And here's the, you know, guys, I just thought about this. Hold on. Got a issue here on my short one. Where'd my hammer go? Mathia had to turn that pin around the other way. All right, as I was saying, on the short one, it is a little easier to handle. All the way, as far as you can get it. And I mean far as you can get it. All right. And then just start tightening it up. That's where this comes in nice. You want to bring them up even if you can. There we go, guys. Now, I gotta decide where I wanted this one at. I want to say I think it's right here. Okay, I got the hose where I want it, guys. That hose, you know, you're lifting up and down, and you don't want it to shift left or right. And I had a place where I wanted it to be because the corn is young, and I really didn't want it to be that close to the corn. Okay, all we got to do now is change our feet, put some fertilizer in, and we will be ready to, we're going to roll and cultivate the potatoes and maybe the garlic again, put a little more fertilizer on it, and we'll go do some corn. I have used these little things right here all season before, except at the very end. But I've used them when I couldn't get no more of the shovel feet. Man, these things done ruined America. We don't do nothing no more. Nothing. Everything's There's a little bit of fertilizer in there. We'll run it out tomorrow morning put 50, that's 50 more pounds of 10, 10, 10 on that sweet corn. Not a bad little stand. It's got some missed spots here and there. But I think, you know, it's going to be all right. Get the right weather on it. It's going to be a nice little early patch of sweet corn. We're going to try to kind of go through the Jimmy Red tomorrow. Y'all notice those feet, all they did really was get out my tire track. They did cut into the soil a little bit. I don't know if you noticed, but they were cutting into the soil. When it's real small like that, those shovels will put up some cleats sometimes that will go over to the corn and land on it. So I didn't want to do that, but we'll put them on there when we go through it, probably when it's a little bigger. We'll put them on there, and we'll obviously when we lay it by, we'll finish it with sweep. So hope y'all enjoyed this video. Look forward to cultivating the Jimmy Red and planting some beans, and gotta put up electric fence. I hate that, because you ain't gonna have no beans unless you put up electric fence. So we got to do that. Me and Sammy's got to straighten out the nets. And so y'all have a happy Easter. Praise God for Easter. Praise God for Jesus. Thank you, Jesus, for Easter, for going on that cross and taking on the sins of the world, not just for me, but for everybody. And I appreciate that a lot and so much. But y'all have a good weekend and good day. God bless you. We'll see you.